Hi, everybody. We're going live today. I haven't done this in so long. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking all about human design, which, if you've never heard of it, it is so, so cool. And we're going to be talking with Erin Claire Jones, who just wrote an amazing book on this topic, which I will show. And I've been diving into it, and it's so, so fun to learn about. Hey, how are you, Erin?
I'm good. How are you, my love?
I'm so good. I'm so excited for this. We've got a bunch of people already hopping in. So while people are joining, I'm just going to do like a quick little intro for
I
you.
like
So again, as I just said, this is Erin Claire Jones. She just wrote the book, How Do You Choose? I'll show it one more time and I can link it in stories afterwards too, because it's now available. And it's all about human design. And we're going to talk today specifically. We just talked about this in my membership last week about using human design in business and in work, which was so fascinating. But today we're going to talk about using it in your family life and in your parenting and in your relationships. So I would love for you to just introduce yourself for a moment and then we can kind of dive right in.
Okay, great. So my name's Erin, and I've been working with human. Hear me? Okay, you're frozen. Oh, there. Um,
Sorry, my computer like tried to take the audio away.
okay, no,
Sorry.
no, you're good. Based on our date, time, and place of birth, that gives us all this really practical and your kids and your partners. But if you guys who are here want to look up your chart, you can at humandesignblueprint.com. And the book, which I know we'll kind of mention at the end, it's very much around how you can actually use human design in your life, in your parenting, in your career, in your relationships. If you like want to know what the system tells you about you and how you can use it, it's for you. So should we start with you? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you just froze for a second, but now I can hear you. Yes, it's so fascinating. So, do you want to just go into the different types and
Yeah.
then we can kind of chat more? Okay.
Okay, great. So again, if you guys haven't yet looked up your human design chart, you can at humandesignblueprint.com. There are 5 different types in human design, and types is a really amazing place to begin. And it's also just the first piece. So just know that there's so much more underneath it. But we've got manifestors, projectors, manifesting generators, generators, and reflectors. And if I'm correct, you have manifestors, manifesting generators, generators, and projectors in your family. Did you get that?
Yes. Yes, and I'm a manifester.
Your manifestor. I had the same in my family, which maybe we had already figured out.
So cool.
I've
I
got,
don't know if we did. That's so cool. Interesting.
yeah, I know. Well, I've got 4. You got more. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's start with your type. So you are a manifestor, which I love because manifestors are just 8 to 9% of the population. And so I think it's really amazing to have like manifestor mothers and manifestor entrepreneurs that we can look to. But, a few things that I would say that are true for manifestors. One is that you are somebody who will likely do better kind of working for yourself or working for a team where you're kind of given a lot of freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want.
Mhm.
Freedom. Manifestors really tend to like to tread their own path and don't love being told what to do or how to do it. And
Yes.
so it doesn't mean they can't work for others, but they kind of need the conditions in which they are empowered to do it that way. Um,
Hmm.
Manifestors are really, really good at starting things, not always the best at finishing them. And it's not that like you're flaky in that way. It's more that like you have so much energy at the beginning. And so really kind of building the right support around you that kind of allows you to be in that gift and not feel like you have to sustain everything that you've begun. Manifestors tend to need freedom. So just kind of building a business that allows you freedom. Obviously, with 3 kids, like, you will probably not have the freedom you once did, but also like creating moments to be in your own flow when possible.
Yeah.
And also, manifestor energy is very bursty, like where you might find that you're super on fire and like have lots of energy, followed by like a period where you've really got to like rest and be alone and kind of like slow down. So you're not really kind of built to kind of expend your energy in a really steady way day to day, but it kind of really ebbs and flows. And also, manifestors are here to initiate. Many people are here to kind of wait for things to come to them. Like for you, you're really here to like make the first move when you feel that surge of inspiration. And I guess the last thing that I would say around parenting, you're somebody who's meant to be like a little bit provocative, and maybe that's like too intense of a word, but I feel like you do it well. Like you're just meant to be somebody who's like, yes, everybody says this, but like I'm here to like offer a new way of doing things, like a
Right.
new way of approaching this. Like you're just not here to kind of do things in the way that it's been done before. And it also means when it comes to parenting that like you can read all the books and learn all the things and you're still going to discover your own way because like that's just who you are. Like you're just
Totally.
here to tread your own path. So
Yeah.
curious how and if that's all landing.
Yeah, it's all like perfectly makes sense. Like every single part. And that's why I love human design. It's so cool how like detailed and specific it can be. And you can kind of just take it and like I love it that it just kind of like gives me permission. Like, okay, it's okay that I'm like this. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me, right? So like how can I just embrace these things about me and make them work? So yeah,
Mhm.
it's very, very accurate.
Good. Okay. Yeah. And like, honestly, my biggest dream for the book, and I know that I think I said this at the beginning, but that like people not only read the chapters about themselves, but about their kids and their partner,
Hmm.
because like you're the only manifestor in your family. Like, probably really great for your partner to read the chapter on manifestors and relationships and just be reminded of what he already knows, of
Yes.
like, yes, this is so her. And these are ways I can
Yes.
better support her. So I'm loving hearing all the stories of people like up late reading it with their partners and like reading about their kids because it is so wonderful to remember how different we each
Yep.
are.
It's so true.
Okay, so we've got two generators in your family. Is this right?
Yes, I believe so.
So who is this? This is two of, no, no,
So
no, sorry, one generator.
one generator. So I think it might be Noe. Is it the
It is
January
Noe.
birthday? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Noe. Okay, let's talk about Noe. And we'll see if you can
Mhm.
observe this at this stage. Um, Okay, so generators, I love generators. Generators are people that are so boundless in their energy when they feel genuinely excited about what they're doing. When
Mhm.
they're excited about what they're doing, their energy is like through the roof and is so uplifting and so bright. Like something I say in the book is that like nothing beats being around a lit up generator. Like it is truly the best. And
Mhm.
so like with a generator kid, know that you've got like an incredibly capable child on your hands with like a lot of powerful energy. And I think how you can help is really just staying connected to like what feels like the most satisfying? Like, what do they feel the most drawn to? Like,
Mhm.
what is their gut just like pulling them towards and really creating space for that? Generators tend to love mastery. They love going deep, so also kind of allowing the time to kind of like dive deep and learn and study. Like, this is like these people are so great at that. I think generators can end up kind of getting burdened with like carrying a lot of things that aren't there, just like doing a lot because they're so capable. And
Yeah.
so, like, a life lesson for them is like, not seeing it as selfish to prioritize their own satisfaction, but basically seeing it as like the most generous thing they can do.
Mm.
Generators really need to expend their energy fully. So I don't know like what bedtime or any of that stuff has been like, but I think that like generators, like they often, and this is true for adults too, like if they get to bed and they feel like a little bit restless or depleted or like they haven't fully exhausted their energy, it's like impossible to sleep.
Oh yeah.
But if they get to bed and they're like, I've used it all up, they feel like delightfully spent, they sleep so well. And so like, whatever you can do to help Noah use
She
that.
does handstands for 20 minutes before bed.
It's amazing.
Literally.
Yeah. It's like she's got to just use it
Yeah.
up. So it's like you're somebody who's actually meant to like unwind and sleep, and like take your time.
Yeah.
Like she's just gonna like use up any of that lingering energy. I'm curious, this is just like another part of her chart. I'm curious, like, do you feel like she's somebody who might, in her kind of shadowy expression, she might sometimes be like seeking
Yeah.
attention and feel like she's
Yes.
like, because she's got what we call an open throat in human design
Mhm.
and can feel this like all this pressure to communicate and share and be seen. And so like a big
Yes.
life lesson for her, probably not one she's going to learn at this age, is around like sitting back and like letting the pressure dissipate before she shares. But I would say
Mhm.
as a parent, because there's this pressure to speak, like really actively inviting her in to share and like
Mhm.
creating space for her voice could be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, so helpful. That makes so much sense too. Also because of just like her place in the family, she's the middle kid. So, sometimes what they say about middle kids is true, where like they get a little bit lost in the shuffle at times.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So let's talk about your partner,
Yeah.
Marley. Manifesting generator.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Did you look it up yet or
I
no?
didn't because I wanted to be surprised
Oh my
because I
gosh.
knew that you
Okay.
were going to look him up.
Okay, fine. You're gonna have to tell me if this sounds like him. So manifesting generators also are very similar to generators in that they're very boundless in their energy when they're kind of lit up
Mhm.
by what they're doing. Like his energy can like honestly power up the entire house. So like
Yeah.
him being like lit up and satisfied day to day like really has such a positive effect on everybody.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be related to work. It could be like anything, like
Yeah.
using his body,
Mhm.
like working on things he enjoys, like spending time with people that light him up.
Yep.
Manifesting generators tend to be quite multi-passionate and
Mhm.
multi-dimensional, where they can't really be confined into one box. Like they like doing this and then this, and like they keep kind of pivoting and changing, and like they just don't really have very linear career paths or
Yeah.
linear lives. Like, and it's so important for them to kind of give themselves permission to pivot and change and evolve because it's so innate to who they are. I would also say manifesting generators, like he's not meant to be a fast decision maker, but like once he's clear on something, which I think we talked about,
We might have
just
talked about this, yeah.
we thought
Well,
maybe.
because we talked last time about how I make such quick decisions and like don't even think about it. And it's hard with him because he wants to like sit with something for a long time before committing or making a
So
decision.
he's
Yeah.
meant to do
Yeah.
that. Not forever, like a couple days. This is not true of all manifesting generators, but I would say that like once he is clear that something's right, he can make it happen so quickly.
Hmm.
So for him it's about like just taking the time to kind of wait and then go for it.
Yeah.
um because he can be quite fast, I think that a lesson for him and for all manifesting generators is to not expect others to move at his speed, because
Mm.
he might be disappointed by others kind of comparatively low capacity or slowness just because they don't move at his speed. So really kind of honoring how different everyone's speed is.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Do you see that in
Yeah.
him?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And just like the multi-passionate, like not really on a clear path. Like he's a stay-at-home dad right now. So he's like taking a huge break from the workforce in general and, but like loves it. Like he loves having that like time and space. Like he's not tripping about going back to work
Yeah.
or what he's going to do next or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Because it's going to be like ever changing. And he's somebody who's like so creative and like has so much capacity that it's
Hmm.
also like, I think that he probably cannot predict what it
For
will
sure.
be. Like
Exactly.
he's gonna get to the moment and be like, here we go. This is what I'm
Exactly.
gonna do. Like,
Yeah.
so, okay, cool. So let's talk about projectors. You've got two kids that are projectors.
Hmm.
So this is going to be, let's see, Otto
Yeah.
and Lenny.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that you got two projectors.
It's
Okay.
so interesting too because they're both Scorpios, so there's a lot of
Interesting.
overlap with them. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. So projectors are very natural leaders, guides, teachers. They're so
Hmm.
sensitive to other people. So good at asking the right questions. These are people that often professionally end up in the positions of like guide, teacher, coach. So many of our presidents have been projectors. Like, these are people that really are so wise in their perspective and how they see. And so I would say a life lesson for any adult projectors listening is around kind of disentangling their worth from how hard they work and how much they do, and knowing that it's really in their perspective and how they see. As projectors, though, their energy can really ebb and flow. So it's really good to kind of build in moments of space and rest and pause in their days. So what it means for your two kiddos is like they aren't really meant to like consistently be expending energy all the time. Like they need like they're on and then they're off and then they're on and then they're off. And so really kind of staying similar to you in many
Yeah.
ways. So like staying connected to their energy levels is really, really important, and kind of not expecting them to be on all the time. Um, and projectors often need to be invited in. We love invitations, we love words of affirmation. So like I think one way you can really support them both is through just like very specific words of acknowledgement. Not just like you're great, but more like, God, I love the way that you treated your sibling in this moment. Like I love the way that you looked at the situation. I think like, and just kind of reminding them how profound their gifts are beyond how much they can do.
Right.
Um, Curious whether you recognize that in the two of them.
Yeah, and it's definitely harder to tell in the younger one, but I do see a lot of similarities in them. And with my oldest, like you're right, he totally thrives on that positive reinforcement and those words of affirmation that are very specific. And yeah, we see that a lot, very strongly.
Yeah, and one kind of difference between them, just so you know, Otto's the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Like he's meant to be super fast
Hmm.
in decision making. Like
Hmm.
he's just kind of like really, really fast and quick, and like isn't really meant to pause. Whereas Lenny's meant to like really take her time.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Do you see
sense.
that?
Yes. Yeah, he's very impulsive and just like knows exactly. He's like very much like my personality where he's just very quick to make decisions, knows exactly what he wants. And she's just a little more like, yeah, like when I'm ready, I'll get to that or yeah.
One thing I would also say about her, and this again extends beyond being a projector, like I don't know whether you observed this. I feel like I don't remember whether we mentioned this when you and I talked before, but like in her design, she's got this kind of definition, which is so much around freedom. or like
Mm,
she can feel like a little bit trapped or confined if she's like in the same environment with the same people all the time.
hmm.
And so like she kind of has to move, you know? And so like just noticing when that you kind of see that building up and like knowing like it's nothing wrong with this environment, but like she's got to go be energized in a different way.
Yeah, no, that's totally true with her. Like she is definitely our most outgoing of our three and like life of the party. No, doesn't need any time to warm up to new places or things. Like she just will jump right in. And my husband's out with her constantly. Like all they do is ride the bike around the city and like go to different parks and pop in to see friends and go to cafes. And like she
Oh
just
my God, so nice.
thrives with that. Whereas my other kids would have been like, I need some downtime. Like she's very much like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Hmm.
she's like such a watcher and witnesser of the world around her. So probably
Yeah.
like it's so nice to get all those inputs.
Yeah.
Um, okay, fun. Okay, so the last type is reflectors. These you don't have any in your family, you know, neither do I, but reflectors are just 1% of the population, so it's also not a surprise.
Hmm.
Reflectors are so sensitive to their environment. They really kind of take in so much in their space. So really being quite ruthless about where they spend time and who they spend it with is so important because they amplify the energy that they're around. So, you know, I was just on a call with somebody who had a 7-year-old reflector, and it was like I was like really check in with them about like how their classroom feels, if they're in school, and how their room feels, whatever it is, like because like they're just going to take in their space so much. So really kind of
Hmm.
helping curate it in a way that feels good to them. Reflectors are very fluid, and so that means that they're like here to express themselves in a bajillion different ways over the course of their life, in different seasons, around different friends, in different communities. So really allowing that kind of expansive expression and not putting them into one box.
Right.
And their energy is really cyclical. Like over the course of a month, it can really ebb and flow as well. So just kind of staying really connected to their energy levels. I remember talking to a client once who was a reflector, and like she like, you know, changed her hair like a bajillion times in high school. Like that was kind of how her varied expression came out. So I think, you know, if you know a reflector, getting really curious about like who they are right now and not like who they've been or who they're going to be in the
Mm.
future, but like who are they right now and allowing that to continue to evolve. And reflectors are so incredibly wise, you
That's
know,
so
so
cool.
also
Yeah.
really create space for them to share their wisdom because they just see, sense, and feel things that most people miss.
That's so interesting. So, what would you say to a parent who wants to pick up your book? What would you
Mhm.
say they should do with the, because like you said, like parents are so busy. You wrote the book in a way where you could kind of like dip into just your types, but you encourage people to read the whole thing. Like, how do you recommend people using this book
Mm.
as parents?
So I would start with basically, you'll see kind of at the beginning how to look up your design if you haven't yet already. I would start with reading the chapters about yourself and basically how it's divided is like kind of each chapter is like how this part of your design relates to your work and how it relates to your relationships at home. So like you might not want to read work, you might not want to read relationships, like you can choose, you might want to read both. So I would start by like reading your design and just really kind of thinking about that. I would also maybe give it to your partner to read about you too.
Hmm.
And then I would return to the people that matter most to you in your life, whether it's a partner, whether it's kids, and I would read about them and like think about how you are interacting with them. And if you are, say, a generator and your daughter's a generator, I would read that chapter twice. Like I've had so many people already share that like reading it through the lens of different people totally changes their perspective of what they're taking in. You
Interesting.
know, so like
Yeah.
which makes sense. And I had even a friend tell me she was like reading the chapter aloud to her 4-year-old, you know, about her like emotional authority. So like I would also like not hesitate to like have it be a conversation starter, not in like you must be this, but like how does this feel? Like does this feel like you? It's just such a I feel like so often we are living on autopilot and like don't really take the time to step back and ask ourselves like who are we and how do we
Yeah.
choose? Like how do we go about our day to day? And this is such an amazing way to entertain that. And I think in a family context, human design offers us such a powerful reminder that we are all wired so differently.
Yeah.
Like for me, just knowing my two daughters have such a different design than me is like I just love it. I like have no expectation they'll be anything like me, and
That's
they
so
already
cool.
are
Yeah.
not appearing to be anything like me. And so I would recommend that you start there, and then I would have it on hand as like a resource manual when you're in a moment where you're like I'm feeling stuck with my daughter, or I'm feeling like stuck with this career decision, or I feel like I'm like really like nothing's coming my way. Like it's meant to be a thing that you pick up and you're like, oh, this is why this is hard, you know, like because it's just going to remind you of exactly how you're wired to choose, make decisions, find opportunities, structure your day to day. So I've even found I pick it up and like read chapters and I'm like, oh, this is exactly why this is not working. So
Yeah.
it's not meant to be a thing you pick up just once, but I would start by reading about you and the people closest to you.
So cool. Yeah, it really is like a handbook that is just so helpful and it'll be helpful. Like we talked about last time, like it'll be helpful to read about it now, but then also in 5 years from now, when you're in a different place,
Totally.
different things will make sense in a different way. So it's just so cool in that way. So I'm so glad that you wrote it.
I know it's so exciting that it's out in the world. I just love seeing how people are using it. It's really like my dream was so that people would use it for their kids and partners and colleagues in that way, and just hear people actually doing it is like I'm like, oh my
You
God,
know,
yay.
it's so awesome. I can't wait. I started it when I got it a few days ago, and I can't wait to get more into it, especially now that I know what all of my family's types are. So
Oh my
everybody
God,
can get
yes.
the book. Where is it available? Just everywhere where you buy books, right?
Everywhere, wherever you buy books, and in case you can't see the title because it's backwards because of
I
our
know.
New York, it's How Do You Choose a Human Design Guide to What's Best for You at Work and Love and in Life, and it's meant to be so accessible, even if you're totally new to human design.
Perfect. Thank you so much for doing this. This was so, so fun.
Thank
Everybody
you.
should follow you as well. And yeah, I'm just so excited for the book to be out and so proud of you. So congratulations. It's such a huge deal.
Thank you so much. This was such a pleasure. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
All right. I'll save this too for anybody who joined late.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Bye. Bye.